Epstein, her longtime associate and former boyfriend. Before the judge read the sentence, Maxwell spoke to the court and the victims, but remained defiant, saying, quote, "I am sorry for the pain that you experienced. I hope my conviction and harsh incarceration brings you pleasure."
A new development in the Ghislaine Maxwell case. She has been moved to a federal prison in Tallahassee, Florida, to serve her 20-year sentence for sex trafficking. Last month, Maxwell was sentenced in Manhattan federal court for recruiting and grooming girls as young as 14 for Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse. Epstein died by suicide in 2019 in a Manhattan jail while he was awaiting trial.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. You know, they do that for danger, too, because, you know, endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you know, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
Pam Bondi said she was reviewing a stack of Epstein files.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So a few days later, she discovered that the FBI's New York office was hoarding thousands of pages of documents about the whole investigation. The top FBI guy in New York was forced out because he was playing games with these files. So what happened?
Some current and former FBI agents are saying, some of them telling me, that they feel the FBI establishment came out ahead in the standoff sort of with the New York FBI field office over releasing the records and your Attorney General Pam Bondi demanding them but not getting all that she wanted. Is that process still on track? I think that's one of the most often questions I've been asked the last couple of days, to release these records on Epstein, MLK, and JFK.
Well, Pam Bondi's done a phenomenal job in every respect. And there could have been some holdback. I haven't heard too much about it, but they could. But the bottom line is the records are getting out. The Kennedy records are getting out. Those are the ones I really wanted to see the most, were the Kennedys. And during my administration, as you know, I released a lot of them, but then a lot of people started coming in, people that I respected, people that worked for the administration, asked me not to release the rest. And I respected that. They gave me certain reasons, but I respected that. And I did say, I must tell you, I said that probably wish I did release the whole thing because I have no idea what's in there. But since then they found, and we found 2,000 more documents on Kennedy. And the one they want most is Kennedy, and it's going to be released. It's moving along, and it's moving along pretty rapidly.
The Justice Department is also sending some of the Epstein files over to the House Oversight Committee today. Are you in support of them releasing all of them?
Keeping it open.
If they wanted to release,
people shouldn't be hurt, but I'm in support of keeping it totally open. I couldn't care less. You got a lot of people that it could be mentioned in those files that don't deserve to be. You know, people, because he knew everybody in Palm Beach. I don't know anything about that, but I have said to Pam and everybody else, give them everything you can give them, because it's a Democrat hoax. It's just a hoax. The whole Epstein thing is a Democrat hoax.
Mr. President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled? Why do you think that is?
Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest of what the fascination is. I really don't. And incredible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things. The Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. but I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every year, every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
The U.S. Department of Justice says there's no evidence that accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein kept any sort of client list or that he was murdered.
An exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death, and they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. They committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that.
The DOJ also says it is not planning to release any new documents related to the matter, despite the fact that U.S. President Trump previously promised to release more files on Epstein. For years, right-wing media figures have suggested that the government is hiding secrets related to Epstein. During his feud with the U.S. president, billionaire Elon Musk accused Trump of appearing on those supposed files. The department also released hours of jailhouse security footage that shows no one entered Epstein's jail cell on the day he died.
Tonight, ABC News obtaining some audio from Ghislaine Maxwell's recent interview with the feds about Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell says she was never aware of a so-called client list. Maxwell is thought to have the most direct knowledge of Epstein's decades-long sex trafficking operation. Here's an excerpt from that interview, which happened over 2 days last month.
You never saw any sort of list or black book or a list of individuals who, linked to certain masseuses or
Absolutely
anything
no.
like that?
Absolutely no. There is no list. There is no, I'm not aware of any blackmail. I never heard that. I never saw it, and I never imagined it.
Maxwell said that she never witnessed or heard of any inappropriate or criminal activity by President Trump, former President Bill Clinton, or any of the well-known men who associated with Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein's convicted accomplice and former girlfriend waking up this morning in a minimum security prison in Texas. Ghislaine Maxwell transferred unexpectedly Friday to a lower security facility than she'd been in before. She's currently serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking. The surprising move coming just days after Maxwell and her lawyer met with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who was previously President Trump's personal attorney.
The fact that she's moved to this new prison just within this week of meeting with Todd Blanche should be very concerning.
The all-women's prison in Bryan, Texas, has dorm-like housing, not individual cells, with 2 current employees there telling NBC prisoners are given more freedoms. Fellow inmates include disgraced Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes, seen jogging outside this weekend, and Jen Shaw from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, both women convicted of fraud. The Bureau of Prisons has not specified why Maxwell was moved, but policy suggests she would have needed a waiver since convicted sex offenders like her are typically not eligible to be housed in a minimum security prison camp. The move infuriating the family of Virginia Giuffre, who said she was recruited by Maxwell to be victimized by Epstein. Giuffre died by suicide in April. In a statement, her family and other Epstein accusers saying it is with horror and outrage that we object to the preferential treatment, adding, "This move smacks of a cover-up." A senior administration official telling NBC News any false assertion this individual was given preferential treatment is absurd. Prisoners are routinely moved in some instances due to significant safety and danger concerns. Giuffre's family telling us last week Maxwell should receive no leniency. Do you believe that Maxwell deserves any relief?
No. And that's a quick no. I'm a firm believer that you reap what you sow.
Now, Maxwell's attorney has said she'd been in what he called difficult conditions at her previous prison. He's floated a possible pardon, which President Trump has not publicly ruled out.
Well, those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep her mouth shut.
And what do you do for work here?
I work for the Department of Justice.
Okay.
Been there like 23 years. I'm an analyst.
And to be clear, the only motive for opposing this bill would be to conceal wrongdoing. You have a choice. Stand with the truth or with the lies that have protected predators for decades.
This is a Democrat hoax that never ends.
My name is Marina Lacerda. I was minor victim 1 in federal indictment of Jeffrey Epstein in New York in 2019. I was one of dozens of girls that I personally know who were forced into Jeffrey's mansion on 9 East 71 Street in New York City when we were just kids. Today is the first time that I ever speak publicly about what happened to me. I never thought that I would find myself here. The only reason that I am here is because it feels like the people who matter in this country finally care about what we have to say. As an immigrant from Brazil, I feel empowered knowing that the little girl struggling to get by at 14 and 15 years old finally has a voice. For the first time, I feel like I matter as an American. I was only 14 years old when I met Jeffrey. It was the summer of high school. I was working 3 jobs to try to support my mom and my sister when a friend of mine in the neighborhood told me that I could make $300 to give an older guy a massage. It went from a dream job to the worst nightmare. My therapist says that my brain is just trying to protect itself, but it's so hard to begin to heal knowing that there are people out there who know more about my abuse than I do. They have documents with my name on them that were confiscated from Jeffrey Epstein's house and could help me put the pieces of my own life back together. But I don't have any of it. And I know the same is true for many of these women.
I am no longer weak. I am no longer powerless. And I'm no longer alone. And with your vote, neither will the next generation be. President Trump, you have so much influence and power in this situation. Please use that influence and power to help us, because we need it now and this country needs it now.
Thousands of pages of documents have been given, but it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president. And I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going. And I think it's enough.